get your adjusted expectations for the Lions ready after Frank Ragnar's retirement. And this is, spurred by, I believe it was Jesse in the chat, Jesse Adams, who said before Frank leaving, I was leaning this team towards 11 to 12 wins. With him gone, I think this team moves down to 10 or 11 wins because of that schedule. This division just got a tag closer. So I want to know what you guys' adjusted expectations are when you do call. So before you get into whatever your main point is, make sure you guys have that. What is your adjusted expectation? After you give that answer, we start your 24 seconds. And if the referees, one of the booth or the hosts up here on the desk feel like, oh, he needs an extra 24, you get an extra 24 on that shot clock. But you know what? I got to start with you, Flannel Sam, before we get to the phone lines. And it is that. What is that adjusted expectation? Because, me, I was sitting at 13 wins, and I do believe it is appropriate for me to go down to 12 wins right now. I do believe that there's going to be some type of impact with the loss of Frank Ragnow, but I do believe this team is going to have enough to be able to overcome and keep a lot of their goals right in front of them. Win the division, give yourselves a home playoff game, and give yourself an opportunity, the best opportunity you can to get to a Super Bowl.
Oh, boy. My adjusted expectations. 11 wins, and they start the season 1-2.
What's your new floor? I'm intrigued by that now.
10.
Okay.
Floor.
Okay.
Floor.
Okay.
10. Oh God, they're making the playoffs, no question about it.
You feel more like Jesse Adams then?
Yeah, I would say 11, and I could see a pathway to them getting to 12. But I do now, and this is probably going to be a segment in and of itself later on. I think they're going to lose one of their first 2 division games, whether it's probably at Green Bay, but more on that later.
Flannel.
Because at the beginning of the season, that's when a lot of the adjustments come in.
I need people to call in and disagree with him.
Straight up. Go ahead.
I'm just doing that.
That's fine.
I just don't see it, man. I just don't see it.
Got Chuck, stop it. Sam, say it. You expect 0 wins. We have gotten to an odd place in this fan base where even when Frank Ragnow retires, you can't say anything except everything's awesome, 17-0 Super Bowl, or you're a hater. Come on, Chuck.
Right, look.
Come on, Chuck. You do that shit all the time, bro. I didn't say anything egregious. It's Frank Ragnow. Did he suck all of a sudden? Now that he retired, did he suck all of a sudden? Was he not important? Because this fan base does that better than any fan base. If you retire, you weren't even that important anyway. But Tate Ratledge can come right in day one and be an all-pro center, even though he never played center in college. Stop it! And if you guys want to respond to that over phone, give us a call.
Listen, Randall Smalls, he says 12-5. John F. Lord, 13-4. Derek Steinberg, Frank will certainly be missed, but my expectations do not change at all. 12-5.
That's one win different than mine, by the way, for Hater Flannel. One win different.
Cody Engel, 12 wins. He says competing with Green Bay for the division title to me doesn't matter. As his Super Bowl or bust, regardless of losing Frank, the goal and expectations don't change.
Yeah, let's go all on the wild card.
So the division title, to me, I do believe that the division title is still on the menu. You got to eat. That's on the menu. You got to lunch. You've owned this thing, Kings of the North. I'm not trying to give the Green Bay Packers any leg up in this division at all. You've owned them. And it's time for us now. How many years did the Packers go? It didn't matter who was injured. There were years where we thought, this is finally our year. And they still housed us. As Lions fans, no. If I believe in this team, you continue to go out there and you continue to impose your dominance in the NFC North, especially over the Cheeseheads. I don't know, man. That's the team to me I do believe is going to wind up second. But just because they have the most, consistency, in my opinion, at quarterback in the division behind the Lions. But the Packers, bro. Hoof-hearted. He says, I stand firm at 12-5. And we have a lot more of these that we're going to definitely get to. Continue to get your adjusted expectations in for the Detroit Lions. And if they haven't adjusted, if you say, look, I'm still holding firm, put that in the chat. But I also want to know why. Hey, before we get to phone lines, we got intern Ryan. I'm going to get to the booth, too, and then we'll get to the phones.
Yeah, I definitely think my adjusted prediction for the Lions, I'm thinking it's 10 or 11 wins. That's a tough schedule that they have. Obviously, Ragnow, that's your all-pro center. Everyone that's won a Super Bowl has a superior offensive line. I know someone said that we have a mid-offensive line now.
That's not true.
I think with Sewell, you can't say that. They've definitely lost the top two, maybe the top offensive line spot in the NFL. I think the Eagles are much better. But I think it's 11 wins with this Lions team. I'm not saying they're winning more than 12 or 13 wins. I can't see it, especially with that tough schedule. And you're bringing in Glasgow and Ratledge. Ratledge, as Sam has mentioned, has not played center at all in college. And I'm sure it's tough moving over from guard to center, but I'm going with the Lions. I had them at 11 wins with Ragnow, maybe 12, but I'm going to stick with 11. I'm going to favor more over to 11 than 10. So 11 wins for me with the Detroit Lions this year.
I'll be fair. My floor is 11. My new ceiling for them is that 12 wins for the Detroit Lions, winning the NFC North and giving themselves a great opportunity going into the playoffs. You know what? To finally cash in on at least that appearance. But I see Go Blue GB99. Ragnow's war is 3 to 4 games.
Ooh,
that's
see, like
that's insane.
I don't think he's going to be responsible, because if we were going by that logic, I would pick the Lions to win 9 or 8 without Frank. And I don't believe that, by the way. Like I said, I still think they get 11. Maybe instead of picking them to lose to the Packers in week 1, maybe I'll pick them to lose to the Rams. I don't think I did in my original prediction, but I think 11-6 is still a great season. I think that will get you the division title. Maybe not the 1 seed, but all I'm really bullish on is win the division, get some like a more favorable road than a wild card, and let's ride from there. And at the end of the season, these rookies, especially come playoff time, they're not technically rookies anymore. And I'm sure a lot of them will have a lot to say with how this season goes, especially on that O-line. And I'll even count Christian Mahogany as a pseudo-rookie as well, because he didn't have a lot of snaps last year.
Yeah, and, I'm about to throw it over to the booths real quick before we get to the phone lines. I see you in the chat. Semira says, I don't care if we have 9 or 15 wins. I want a playoff run, or this year is a failure.
100%.
I do believe that starts with the division title. If that's 9 wins, I'm hoping that's with the NFC North title. But JB Smooth, where you at with this, man? The expectations, the adjusted expectations for the Detroit Lions. It's a big loss in Frank Ragnow. But this team has shown that they've been capable as well, which is what I lean towards, of being able to overcome not just 1, not just 2, not just 3, but a whole lot of important pieces to injury. But where you at with this thing, with the Detroit Lions, brother?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, everyone's expectations are going to be a little bit different now as we lose Frank Ragnow. But for me, honestly, I'm probably only dropping them just 1 game. It's still a solid, 12-5 season for me. I only say that 1 game just because, yes, they are going to have to figure out some things, but this is the time for them to do that. You're going to have to gel a little bit better with the rest of the linemen that you have. And obviously, I think it will cost them 1 game here and there, but at the same time, this team is still making a playoff. This team is still well connected and adjusted to each other as well. If you want to look for another center out on the market, you can. But as of right now, just stay at home with what you got, because honestly, it's working. This team is a band of guys that have worked well and gelled well together. 1 win is not going to make or break this whole season for them. Trust me, they will make the playoffs. Everything will be okay. And who knows? Frank could still be in the back, just giving his tutelage and teaching to all these guys out there, telling them how to be better.
Well, and JB, I'm glad, because we haven't even talked about this, because I don't really think it's worth spending much time on. Graham Glasgow is better than anybody you could get on the open market right now in terms of centers. There's nobody. The best that you can hope for is maybe a camp cut if you're trying to upgrade the center, get another veteran presence in there. But I think to start the season, it has to be Graham Glasgow. And I'm not thrilled with it, but at least he's going to be a major downgrade to a Frank Ragnow, but at least he's played a lot of center in his career. He's an experienced center, done it, like I said, for an entire year in 2018, did it for almost the entire year in 2022 with the Broncos, did it for over 200 snaps in 2 years with the Lions. He'll be serviceable, I think, but we didn't have serviceable before. We had the man, and unfortunately the man, just his body betrayed him.
I found your burner account before I go over to Cavassier. Malik Peterson. You MFers need to stop not caring about the division, but demanding playoffs. And I get that. Demanding the playoffs, but hey, you know what? They can just win 9 games and just sneak into. That's one area of it where I'm just like, you know what? No, I think that this team's identity is about how serious they take this black and blue division. And we know what that will mean for the Detroit Lions. We absolutely know what that will mean. I'm wondering now, to a degree, this team has done things to set it up to where the division has as much value as it needs, including them withdrawing that appeal that was on the table. So I'm looking forward to them going out there and continuing to treat this thing as important as we see it for over 60 years that it was before we hung a couple banners up there. But what up, Dokavasi Chase? And then we'll get to the phones after that.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I'm right around there with Sam, right around 10 or 11 wins as a Woodward. I think that still a very good team. I think there was a lot of pieces in place on this offensive line that go around to figure out, what the recipe is going to be for this team that worked throughout the whole season. It's not like, we lost our whole offensive line. We lost one piece in the middle, and it's going to be tough to replace. But the Eagles lost Jason Kelsey. He retired and they went on to win a Super Bowl. It's not unprecedented. That team loses one of the best centers in the game. They're deeper on their offensive line, and all of a sudden, it doesn't mean you're automatically going to fold if you don't win the team. We just saw the Eagles win two Super Bowls. They have a very good tackle in Lane Johnson. We have a very good tackle in Penny Sewell as well. We saw very good people on this O-line, on this offense, and on this we bolster the defense too.
Yeah. No, I feel you on that in terms of how much this team has done to try and make sure that this aspect of whatever, if it's someone retiring, if it's somebody getting injured, because we talked about this squad was going to have to be ready for, with players getting a little bit longer in the tooth on that offensive line, for what if those guys get injured? Do you have enough? And taking a couple offensive linemen in each of the last two drafts, do you have enough to be able to overcome and keep your season and its expectations on the right track? And I definitely believe that they've done that. I believe that this organization has taken all the necessary steps, but I do want to hear from the people about this too. So do we take a quick one, or do you want to at least take one call before we go to break?
Let's take a quick one, just so we can try to remain on time, which we never do. But trust me, it's just as much my fault as anybody else here. You know what? When conversations get going,